You know who it is, everybody. I am back once again with another hair tutorial. Today I'm showing you how I made this wig using a lace closure, and let's just get into it. But first, make sure you subscribe and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you don't miss any more videos from me. Okay, so the very first thing I'm gonna do is take this mesh cap, this mesh dome cap. I love the mesh dome caps because back in the day, people used to use just regular dome caps that the guys used to use for their waves. That didn't really work for me because the one time I tried a wig with that, my head was so high and I was sweating so hard that my back track actually slipped away from the wig because it was a hot glue wig. Anyway, I'm using this mesh cap. Now they have mesh caps that are breathable, and this is much more preferable for someone like me who apparently sweats a lot, especially in the back of her head. So I'm gonna put this on my head, and all I'm doing right now is like figuring out where I'm gonna place the closure. So I'm taking this, I believe it's an eyeliner, and it's kind of a nude color. It really doesn't matter what color it is as long as it's bright enough for you to see. And I am marking off where I'm going to place the closure. So I'm doing, you know, 2 on the side so I know exactly where to lay that, and also 1 in the back so I know about where the closure stops. At this point I realized that my big-headed self could not take the tightness of this cap. I don't know why they make these caps so small. Maybe my head is just big, I don't know. But I decided to cut in the middle of those 2 marks just to kind of spread the elastic some, because the last thing I want is to end up with a really tight wig that gives me a headache and I can't wear anymore. So I'm gonna cut it, and once again I'm gonna measure about where the closure is gonna land because it's gonna be different now that I cut it. Now I'm gonna head over to my mannequin head. I have my dome cap on the mannequin head. You see that I have 2 sets of marks, but we know the inner marks are the marks that we're going with because those are the ones that I did after cutting the elastic. So I'm just taking my wig pins and pinning it to the dome cap and the wig head. Now I usually stitch on both sides of the closure. So what I mean is I'll start on one side. When I get about halfway in the back of the closure, then I'll start stitching from the other side. And I do this because the last thing I want to do is stitch all the way around and the closure end up being crooked. So I want to make sure it's nice and flat and even on both sides. And the best way to do that is to stitch from both sides. And now that that's done, we can start stitching our tracks. Some people double their tracks because it's a lot faster. I am not one for speed or time or anything. When people ask me how long my hairstyles take, I hate to even tell them how long it really took because I have a hard time sitting down for long periods of time and just doing it like all in one fell swoop. But you can double it up to make it faster, and if you do it in one sitting, it shouldn't take as long, but I can't really tell you how long it'll take because I take my time, I take my breaks, I watch my shows, my movies, I have my snacks, whatever I gotta do to, you know, eventually get it done. You'll notice that my lighting changes a lot because it really took me days to finish this wig, but don't be like me. Stay focused and just get it done. And as I always do, I'm doing a perimeter track. So this is going to go under the cap. So once I reach the other side of the closure, I'm going to cut the track. This is going to be one of 2 times that I cut a track in this tutorial because I use the fold over method. Alright, and now we are getting down to the nitty gritty. Well, not really, because this is still very early on in the wig making process, but we're going to start stitching the rest of the tracks. Once again, I'm using the fold over method, and I'm just going to let you guys watch from here. Now some people I think don't stitch on the elastic band. I don't really know exactly how they do that because I haven't really watched anyone's tutorial on this recently. But I stitch on it. I just try to do kind of a light stitch. Like I don't go all the way through the elastic. I just try to go through the fabric around the elastic. Alright, and really quickly I'm just going to show you guys a close-up of how I stitch. I've never seen anyone stitch like me. Like I stitch from the bottom up, and most people I see stitch from the top down. I don't know why. I don't really know that one is better than the other, but this is how I do it. And yeah, so I just stitch from the bottom up, and then I pull the needle through the loop that's created. And that's that. It's nice and neat. Now at some point, I decided to draw some kind of guidelines to know how I want the tracks to lay, because while the mannequin head is about the same shape or circumference as my head, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have ears, so a lot of times the wig ends up sitting further up on the mannequin head than it would on my real head. So I'm just drawing some lines to make sure that my tracks end up where I want them to be. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfectly straight. Just give you a general idea of how the tracks should wrap around your head. And I'm just going to keep on sewing. And here we are. At this point, I'm doing my last stitch, and it's right there at the lace. I just want to make sure this one is nice and flat. I don't think I did the fold over on this last track. I think I cut it on both sides just to make sure it's flat on both sides and that I don't have any bulk in the front from the fold. And look at this, it's thick, it's full. I think I used 4 bundles. I don't know, check my description box for the actual details on how many bundles I used. And this is how it looks. With that done, the next thing you want to do is pluck your frontal. Most of the plucking I'm going to be doing is in the front. There's no real rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. So I'm just plucking away just to give it a more natural look so it's not just a straight line and clearly a wig. Now, most of the time I'm going to wear a middle part, so you won't even see most of this, but just in case the wind blows, you know, I plan on going to Miami this summer, so I want to make sure, you know, I'm good on all fronts. And from here, I'm just straightening the wig. Because I changed my hairstyle up so much, I'm not big on doing the whole bald cap thing or the stocking cap method because I really don't want to stick anything to my head unless I really need to. But for this wig, I'm going to do my quick and easy installation. So I'm really just putting it on and then I'm applying some concealer to the part just to lighten it up some. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want a more detailed tutorial on how to pluck a wig or how to bleach your knots, which was actually the first step I did that I didn't even mention, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions, of course, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and click the notifications bell so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you guys in the next one.